I wanted to talk to you about visual thinking and drawing for quilters. And this visual thinking is really important because I want us to be able to take designs and put them on our quilts, whether you're automating them and drawing them using automation, which I love, you guys, but I also love the free motion part of it. So I want us to have the best of both worlds and to open our minds and broaden our horizons so that we can become better quilters. Okay, so I'm going to go to my next page here. Okay, so do you see in the next page? Okay. Yes. Visual thinking is not a skill just for a lucky few. Everybody is born with the ability to think in pictures. And I want us to remember that. But only a few people nurture and develop this ability as they grow older. It's the same story with drawing. Everybody can draw. But the chances are you became discouraged as a child or as a quilter and neglected this skill. Sight is far and away the most important way we learn about the world around us. If you don't develop your drawing and visualization skills, you will not unlock the full potential of the 75% of the neurons in your brain, which are very important because we lose them if we don't develop them, used in the process of visuals. So this is my word of advice. I encourage you to use your imagination, creativity, and style, your own style, to inspire others with your quilting by developing your visual and drawing skills. So that's what we're going to jump in today is how to visualize and how to develop our drawing skills so we become better quilters. So what happens when you draw? I should get rid of that. Okay. You order your thoughts. So you help to organize what you're trying to do. And that really does help as we are drawing out our designs. Okay. Or doodling. Okay. Patterns and links or connections become clear. Different perspectives open our mind, and then it simplifies and helps us edit. And this is so true. You'll see something that you're not very good at, but I encourage you to keep in trying and improving on that. It's like with feathers. Some of us are really good with feathers, but that's because we've practiced them for a long time and we've drawn and drawn and drawn. So keep improving, and then you will get new ideas, and then it makes the idea more approachable. So when you get to the frame in the machine, you now have kind of drawn out, you have a game plan. So it really does help you get to that quilt a little quicker and a little faster. And it really kind of eliminates some of the anxieties that you get every time we go to quilt. I get new anxieties and it's like, oh my gosh. And they well up inside. I don't care how many quilts you've done, it's the same thing over and over. So by having that game plan and drawing it out, it really does help us conceptualize and learn the designs. And I really kind of like this design that I saw. So I love continuous line designs, but notice how much fun this is. So they've started here and they've gone around, they've added the little presents, and they've gone back and forth, and they've just made a continuous line. So that's what I want us to start to think about, is how can we make and edit our designs. So I want you to think of a spider. What shapes go into a spider? So it's a larger oval shaped circle and a smaller circle. And then how would you add the legs? So we're going to go into our drawing, and if you know where the annotate tool is, it's in the three dots either at the bottom or the top. You guys can join me and draw. Okay, so how would you do this? Now I have done spiders before, and I have added, I've come in and gone around. Now I'm not very good when it comes into it, and did a little spiral, come back out, and then I want to start doing my little legs. So, and some of them will have 4 legs, and then you'll come around to do this. And then I will come down because it's easier for me to start down here at the bottom and go down to the top. So how would you make it continuous line and keep going? So use your annotate tool and kind of decide how you're going to do it. And I could go in back in and then do my little spider and continue on. Okay. And then I come down here. All right, and I keep going across. Now, I'm not the greatest spider in the world, but I keep practicing. And sometimes it helps me to draw it out on my quilt after I practiced it quite a bit. Okay, so now that we've done the spider, oh, some of those are great spiders. Let's talk turkeys here, okay? So how would you do your turkey? So you come in and would you do the feet first or would you just come around and then kind of do a little spiral in the turn and then come back out and then start the little gobbler down here and come around. So break it, okay? Now I want you about triangle. I probably should have more in the triangle. It was just to help give you, I see, look at this little turkey right here, you guys. Yes. And this is what I do. I practice it over and over and over again, drawing over my drawing. And then I'll do several of them across and make it a continuous line. All right, so let's go to the next page. You ready? So we're going to talk snowman here, okay? So how would you do the snowman? I'm not even going to draw. I want to see what you guys will do to make a snowman. Are you going to come in and do little spirals? Are you going to add arms to him? This is just a shape in the outline. So I wanted to show you my idea of templates because I think templates would really help. So this is my idea of a little template that you could put, and you could put one up, one down, one up, one down. Or you can use this one, the little shape, okay? And you can add the arms to it, the little sticks, and have a lot of fun. But now you'll keep it nice and even. I want to really have you think about what templates you can use on your quilts and then draw them out. Because by the time you get to the bottom, you get really good at drawing your design. So that's just one idea that I've used several times, especially in borders and corners. All right. Another idea that I have, so with your snowman, is breaking a block off up into sections. So yeah, so if you break it up into sections on this next page, and let's talk leaves here. So this is one that I would actually use and kind of come around and try my leaves and practice them. And then maybe go into the next one. But I probably add some swirlies in there and things so it doesn't look like. So just get some inspiration and find some ideas. Oh, look at that maple leaf. Awesome. So practice your designs first and then go and put them on the quilt. Now we're going to talk about, okay, we're going to have a lot of question and answers. Now we're going to talk about how you can make this field of trees into different sections and make it one continuous line. So how would you do this? So now we're going to talk continuous lines. So I would come like this, then go up and start doing my trees. And then I would come down and go up and down. So it looks like it's little snow filled. And you can start on this side. And then as I come back down, Now I'm going to come down and up, and then I'm going to start on this side and do the same thing. So that's how I connect them. Okay. And then I want you to look at how you would connect it and how you'd make it a continuous line. Then on this next one is I've done them up and down, up and down. So this is kind of fun. So I just kind of go up and down, up and down, up and down. Okay, so that gives me an idea of what I can do. And now that I have some registration marks, now I can just kind of follow it and then do my tree. And now they're not on the same plane. And then kind of do the same thing. So I'll use chalk to help me with my outlines, you guys. And then you can make these Christmas trees if you wanted to. You could make this a scene. Okay, it's hard to do it, but nice job. You guys are really good at drawing. So this will give you some ideas of how you can stagger and make them a lot of more interesting. I don't think it's as interesting on some designs to keep them all on the same plane. I think it's a lot more interesting when you're looking at the quilt to kind of have them staggered different areas. So I want you to think about perspective too. So you could have trees smaller and the trees that are closer to you are larger. So think about scale and density as well. Okay, so we're gonna go to the next page and I'm gonna throw you a little loop in here, okay? So when you're thinking about it, and then let's have you get rid of your annotate. I wanted you to look at this little koala. And somebody had done this little koala as a continuous line design. And I didn't put all the detail in there. So you don't need, for a snowman, you don't need every single detail in there. You can eliminate the eyes, or you could add them in, and the nose can kind of look like a beak. So if you're not careful, but you get the gist that it is a snowman. Sometimes it's more important to have less. Less is really more when it comes to a design. So see how they've eliminated some of it and they've made the tummy part of it, and they've added a little loop in here, coming in here, and the little loops are the claws. So that's how they created the interest with the little loops as you're going around. And I like how they came down here. I don't even know if this is the picture that they were designing it, but it looked good. And he's on the tree. So how would you go up and over on the tree and do this all the way across? So cute little koala, very interesting, and not a lot of detail. All right, let's look at the kitty. I couldn't find a kitty that had the profile of this, but I wanted you to think about how could you create that interest by just eliminating a lot of little things. Now you could make this kitty a little more interesting by adding little lines back and forth, so more tiger-like. And this one is just showing the back profile, so you don't have to have a face on this little kitty. And okay, we want us to get away from straight lines because straight lines can cause problems. I want us to show movement, and movement's really important. So these are a little bit more detailed, but when you get this PowerPoint presentation, I want you to practice, and I want you to just draw and draw and draw and see what you guys can create, okay? So let's talk the next page, okay? So here's a tree. So here's a little tree right below it. And I think this is really interesting what they did. I like the little grass. I don't like the straight line here, but I like how it goes up, and they just did swirls. The swirls act as the leaves, and it creates movement on it. And so if I were creating this for automation, I would do the little outline of the tree first, and then put the swirls in, because the outline is going to give me that basis for how I'm going to draw and develop. All right, so practice with the trees and stuff, but don't use straight lines, use flowing, moving lines. All right, here's the sun. And I like this because it's more of an arc, and they've gone in and they've done the loops as the spike on the sun. And see how they've created it? So you could make this into a continuous line, but I would have it go all the way across, and I make these a little shorter. So if you were going to do that, I'd have them move straight across. Okay, so here's a couple of designs, or 3 designs that I actually put in the automation. So this all moved, so it's asking you how you would create these designs right here. So I've got to get out of here so I can get this. I don't know what happened here. There, that moved over. Okay, so all I was asking is how you would make this. This is already a continuous line design, and it turns out really cute. So you're coming across in, so you're just moving across, coming in and out, and you're just going to make the trees. Make them your own trees. They don't have to be that way to make them be the same, but do you. I didn't really like these trees. So when I put this design in the automation, I made the house different. I made the trees different so that they weren't, I wasn't copying this. I just received inspiration from it. And I didn't even add this section to it. I had it stop right here, and it turned out really cute. And then for this little angel, and I turned this one into a border and a corner, and she turned out really cute. So what I did is I started like this. I used my arc on it, and I came in the middle. And then I went up and around like this, and I did the wing. I came up and did the head a little better than that. And then I did the other wing. But I brought them all the way in, and then I came down, and then I added another little arc. And so going all the way across, they're connected and they're side by side. But, okay, when you're doing continuous line designs, this is really important. If I had it stop short right here where my wing ends, they would probably overlap. So you need to stretch out your start and stop points just a little bit more as you're creating a continuous line design, because you don't want them to overlap. You want your spacing to be as consistent and as even as possible. All right, here's another challenge for you. How are you going to make the elephant continuous? I didn't even add this little tusk to him. I just eliminated that, and I came in and came around. So what I did to make this continuous, I started out here and I did up, down, up, down, up, down, okay? And I stopped right here, okay? And then I came around and did my little elephant. And he turned out really cute. Now, I didn't do this little loop right here. I didn't think he needed it. So I just came in and out like this, and around, and then down. And then I called them elephants on parade. So we're just adding it so that you know how elephants line up as they're, marching along. So that's what I did. So I just made it so that they were barely touching. And if you're using Power Panto, you could flip the elephants so their little tusks are kind of intertwined. And so it turned out really cute. And I'll show you what they look like when it comes to that. Okay, so we're not almost done here. Okay, so let's talk leaves. Okay, so I will have a game plan when it comes to the leaves, and you want to create movement. The leaves should be turned different directions, but they're blowing in the wind. If you want them to, you can add them, and then you can go up and around. And then you could just do the loops too, if you wanted to, if that's easier for you. And then come around and then go up and around. You can add it where you can move across your quilt, just adding spirals if you wanted to, and going across. So If it's something that needs movement, add spirals to it because they do. They draw the eye around and they help you move in the direction that you want them to go. All right. So one last thing, and then I'll show you the little designs and how to play with them when it comes to the automation. I have a little time here. Okay, I wanted to show you really quick how to start and stop and some of the ideas that I use to help me when I'm free motion quilting. So I just have this little video here. I have to get out of this, so sorry. Okay, now I can start the video. All right, so this is to show you how to make your designs nice and consistent and even. So if you start with an up down, it kind of helps you move across it and gives you that consistency. Now notice this one isn't inside the barrier, so it's a little bigger. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to start and stop your machine. So we're going to hold on to our thread tail and we're going to use our needle up, needle down, which is right here to the right of the start button. So we're going to insert it, pull up our threads. Okay. And now that we've pulled it up, now what we can do is jog our needle down and we can stabilize our stitch. And you just want to do a couple little stitches as close together as you can. Okay. So now we're just going to start it and then I'll show you how to end it. This is my little leaves. Okay, so now I'm going to go up and do my little swirlies, and then I'm just going to kind of practice my leaves. Okay, now I'm going to do some more. So following all around. Up here, do another one. This one's a little smaller because I come in all different sizes. Okay, so now that I'm coming down here, I'm just going to do a little swirly. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to stop. So I'm going to stop it, and before I move it, I'm going to stabilize my stitch. I'm just going to do a couple back and forth. Now that it's stabilized, I can pull it away and pull up my threads and end it. That way I don't have to bury my threads. Okay. All right, you notice that I pushed the start button again. Sorry, you guys, not totally with it all the time. Okay, so I just want to show you after this, okay, I want you to share this with everybody. I want you to practice. That's what I want. If you don't want to practice, that's fine. But I would really like for you to try your hand at free motion quilting and try your hand at designing. So I'm going to get into the automation here. I wanted to show you what my design looked like after I had done them. So I wanted to show you in Power Panto, and I'm going to pull it up. Can you see this screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So I'm just going to put a size in. So I just want you to see, I'm just making it 40 by 40. All right. And I wanted to show you that little elephants that I did. So I'm going to select my design. I'll show you. Karla does a lot of designs, and I've called it Elephants on Parade. There's my little angel right there. I'm going to show you that in Borders and Corners, what that turned out like, because I want you guys to get excited about learning how to design. And we're going to have a little nice one. Here's my little elephant. Okay, so there's my little elephant that I did. Okay, that's from that line design. Okay, and I add a little eye. I forgot to tell you that. So when I just wanted to add some spacing, but look at this, and then look at this. Okay, so look how you can do it. This would look really cute on a little baby quilt. If you wanted to do that. Here's the little angel that I did. So I'll show you what it looks like. And sorry, show you what the angel looks like so that you can see that. And then I'll show you the little house. I forgot what I named the little house, but anyway, here's what the angel looks like. And you can stagger that, but it looks better as a border and corner. Okay. And so that's what I want to show you. So I'm going to get out of this. We'll go to the home and then we'll go into here in the gold feature, borders and corners. I'm going to pull it up in there. And this is what I wanted to show you, what my little angel looked like. So I'm going to go in and get my pattern, select my corner first, my little angels. There's my corners. There they are. And now here's the border. Come on. I wanted to show you what it's doing. There you go. There's the little angels. There's a border and corner. Well, it turned out really cute and it's a lot of fun to do. So practice your continuous line. This is one way that by doing the little arcs like this is one way for you to not have a straight line. I don't like straight lines in borders. Now you could add a little something interesting right here in the points if you wanted to. As you're designing this, you could do a little bell, you could do something fun like that. But you know, make it you. Don't copy everything that's out there. I want you guys to create some interest and have fun designing. And you have the power within you to create and design. And if you don't think you're artistic, you're fooling yourself. I want really try it. All right, so now we'll get out of this, and I really just want you to share and like and tell everybody about it, because it's not just for automated quilters. Quilters Playground is for everybody and anybody who wants to just improve their quilting skills, and that's what we're here for. So let's open it up for question and answer. I hope there's lots of questions.
Karla, before you go away, will you show pattern CAD? There was a lot of questions about how you would do that through QCT.
Okay, so I did pattern CAD, so I'm pulling it up in here. This is pattern CAD, okay? And so what I did is I just took right here at the top, you guys, there's a background. I'm changing the background to load an image, okay? So I loaded the image, and let me show you what this looks like. Come on, trying to pull it over, you guys, and it won't let me. All right, so I'll just load an image, and I'm going to just do the one of the angel. I'm going to open it up. There's my angel, okay? So I just increased the size, and I just decided how to do that. That's why I want you to look at designs and how would you make it continuous, okay? So I don't use straight lines unless I'm making stars or straight lines, okay? Over to the right of the screen, you see all of these little tools, okay? There's draw and edit. I use splines and I used arcs. So I started with an arc and I went from like this point here to this point here. And then I tapped on my space bar and I kind of did that, okay? So that was my center point. So now I could draw and use my spline. Okay, so I'm using my space bar again, and you'll notice that I have little square boxes. These are called handles. These handles are what you can do to pull the line around, okay? And you can move them up and down and pull the line. And then I'll just keep drawing. And notice I have the continuous check, so I could just tap on it right here, tap on the toolbar, and just edit my line right here. And then I'm just going to go across, do my little loops, make them nice and even. And what I actually did is I copied this wing and flipped it and put it right here. And then I went up and around and finished it. So that's how I did that, okay? So get into pattern CAD, those of you that have the automation, and start playing with it. Because that's all it takes is just manipulating the lines and kind of learning how to move them. So you notice that they're blue, okay? So I can unselect and edit them. by just pulling my little box over and I'm unselecting them. So there's a couple of ways that you can do it. Now over here, when I tap on the select, you'll see select all or unselect. And then I can edit and do one at a time. Now I've been doing this a long time, so I'm pretty fast, but just get in there and start playing with it, okay? But you have to hit edit and draw. Okay, I'll get out of this and we'll answer some questions. Okay.
Now with the pattern cat, Karla, it's in Plus and Pro?
No, it's
Just
only
Pro.
in the Pro.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
So you need to upgrade to the Pro if you don't have it.
So yes, you need to have Pro for that. Let's see what other questions. A lot of it was what are you designing in, which would be pattern CAD. Today we were playing in Publisher, of course, to help show you guys kind of the process and what you can start doodling and playing with to get an idea of how it works and everything, but it does get designed in pattern CAD. You could draw something out in Word or Publisher and then save it as a JPEG and put that as the background so that at least you have the freedom of playing with it a little bit without the restriction of how it works in pattern CAD. I feel like everyone has to find their way of how it works, right, Karla?
Yep. Find your groove, you guys.
Okay. Let's see what other questions we got. Oh, my chat went away. Anyone else have questions you guys have for Karla before we move on to the next thing? Automation side, free motion side, what questions do you guys have about designing and turning maybe just a single block pattern into that continuous line? Like one of the questions earlier, Karla, was what was the purpose of continuing loop into a line instead of just stopping underneath the tail of the design you were doing?
I just didn't want to add it, but the loop was just to make it a little more continuous without a point. And it just, that was their way of doing it. I had mine. I didn't really like it. Now, there are times when a loop can help you get past a point, but then there are times that you just have to draw over a line. So, it doesn't hurt to go over a existing stitching line. It just, makes it a little heavier. That's
And
all.
you guys can come off mute. Patricia, it looks like you got a question for us.
I do, and I put it in the chat. Remember the elephant and the little
Yes.
loop under its tail?
Yeah.
And you made a sharp point, and you were just now talking about it. I've always heard that it's better not to make those sharp points. Is that true? Because sometimes on the patterns that I'm quilting out in my robotics, it can skip a stitch right there or get too tight.
It shouldn't. Okay. So the point, it just goes up until a point and comes back down. Now with the loop, it's just going up and around. I just, that was just part of the bottom that I didn't think needed to be there. Because I thought it took away from the tail. So you do you, and it shouldn't be a problem. Now with the loops and the eyes and stuff, the smaller that it is, it's hard to tell what it's going to be. So it kind of looks like a little blob. And so if it's going to be a small little loop, I'll try to eliminate it because nobody's going to know what it is. And they'll think, oh, that's kind of a little messy stitch. I'd rather have it come into a sharp point and then come down.
And I think designing that is aware of how you're going to use that design. If it's going to be a big block design or if it's going to be a little smaller design. Because if it's something that you're going to use small, those little details disappear real quick. And of course, here's our YouTube page. We love having you guys on here. We love seeing your comments, your shares, your likes. It really helps us grow and continue to do these really fun classes for you guys to help teach you everything you need.